The problem presented by nurdles, trillions of small plastic pellets produced by petrochemical giants. Leftover pellets have been escaping into waterways and oceans for decades, but only lately has serious action been taken to figure out what can be done. That includes a monumental settlement in Texas, where we traveled to ground zero for this issue.
Picking up a shovel full of pellets, and this is Cox's Creek.
Take a trip up Cox Creek off the Gulf of Mexico, and it's impossible to miss this gigantic petrochemical factory.
That's a massive plant.
What's sometimes harder to see is what's finding its way out of it. Countless plastic pellets, sometimes called nurdles.
How many pellets are going into the water on a daily basis?
They managed to scoop up 79 billion in 2 years.
Diane Wilson is a fourth-generation fisherwoman who used to captain a shrimp boat.
This is the polyethylene powder that's all over the bay.
She is now an environmental activist, fighting one of the largest plastics manufacturers in the world.
This was never the plan, to go from a fisherwoman to an environmental activist.
No, people don't believe it, but I am normally very quiet. I'm an introvert.
So why this?
Because it fell flat in my lap.
The Taiwanese conglomerate Formosa Plastics first opened this factory in 1983. It now covers 2,500 acres of land near Port Lavaca, Texas. Trillions of polyethylene plastic pellets like these are made here, the first step in making products that we use every day, from plastic bottles to bags, clothing and electronics. But billions of plastic pellets are also lost and find their way into waterways and eventually oceans. Many wash back up onto the beach.
So this is thousands and thousands of nurdles, all from the most recent high tide line.
Jace Tunnel is the founder of the Nurdle Patrol, which began tracking pellets after a massive spill near Corpus Christi last year.
It is the weirdest name you've ever heard, but it's a big problem.
Right, I think that's what draws a lot of people to it, is they think, nurdle, I've never heard of a nurdle, you know, what is that? And then you get into talking about, well, it's plastic and it shouldn't be in the environment. We know for a fact that there's a laundry list of over 200 species that are eating these pellets. And then there's also a concern about what these pellets, once they're in the environment, they're absorbing PCBs, PAHs, DDTs, you know, all those acronyms we hear about, harmful chemicals. These absorb those chemicals.
Accumulating on our beaches, in our waterways as we speak.
Exactly. The hot spot over here.
It's estimated as much as 250,000 tons of nurdles enter the ocean each year.
We can tell based on the colors, the period of time they've been out into the sun. This has been happening over many decades.
In North America, the problem is worst in the Gulf.
This is really painting us a picture of where the highest concentrations are.
All the way from Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula to the Florida Keys. Diane Wilson began collecting pellets on the waterways she used to fish, meticulously documenting where and when they were found. And now her work, 30 plastic tubs filled with evidence, has led to a record-breaking settlement. Formosa Plastics agreed to pay $50 million to help local fishermen and environmental cleanup projects in the area.
When you first heard that Formosa was going to settle, what did you think?
I was in kind of state of shock about it.
$1 million of that $50 million settlement will go to fund Tunnel's Nurdle Patrol.
This isn't just one company that is the bad actor here. It's probably industry-wide based on the data that we've accumulated through Nurdle Patrol.
Do you think the company or companies who are responsible for doing this are committed to fixing it?
I don't think that these companies want their pellets out into the environment. I think that it is cheaper to leave the product on the ground after it's spilled than it is to clean it up.
They don't want to spend the money to clean it up.
Right.
How do you make them do that?
Regulations.
Both Tunnel and Diane Wilson say the Formosa settlement is not the end of their fight. In fact, just the opposite.
Every accessible point in the Gulf of Mexico has been sampled.
Tunnel gets new reports of pellets washing ashore every day. There are currently 46 companies in Texas alone manufacturing plastics. And Tunnel's map showing the size of the problem is only growing.
Do you feel like people are getting the message about this?
Well, when I give presentations, one of the key points that I make is, why are we doing all this? So I have a picture of my kids holding up a bottle of plastic pellets, and I tell people, this is for the next generation. They shouldn't have to deal with this. They should be picking up seashells, not picking up plastic pellets off the beach.
As part of the